Hello and welcome to a RimWorld Biotech playthrough. We are playing as Elves, although we are going to end up doing things that are not very Elvish. I am certain of that. So rather than go through the whole character creation process and the scenario creation process, I did do a tribal start with 5 elves, and I wanted to give enough elves for breeding purposes because we want to make sure we're taking advantage of that RimWorld Biotech expansion functionality where we are allowed to now have kids. So that should be interesting. If we look at our religion, the Forest of Unity, we do have a tree connection, nature primacy, collectivist mentality. So we are going to definitely want to make sure we are utilizing Granland trees and building up our dryads as part of it. I did pick 6 rituals, and most of them will just summon new people, although those people are definitely not guaranteed to be of the same genetic makeup as we are. If we look at our actual xenotype, Elvish, we have a cold weakness. We are happy. We're calm. We don't do a lot of melee damage, but we are robust. We have a high libido and we're attractive. Long-haired, pointy ears, thin body, blonde hair. We're bad at melee, we're bad at mining, but we're great at planting. So this is a fairly complex build that I think, generally speaks to elvish nature, but you'll notice the metabolic efficiency, hunger rate times 225%. So that means we need more than double the amount of food that we would normally need to maintain a colony. So food growth is going to be a big concern going forward. So let's go ahead and look at our map. We do have a river running through the middle, which could be nice for defensive purposes, but it's not like a lake or anything, so there's nothing that's going to stop altogether. It'll just slow them down. Could be useful for disposal though, because it will make this stuff decay a little quicker. There is our danger thing there, so we are going to disallow those doors, make sure nobody accidentally goes inside, and then we pay a price for it. Our anima tree is over here, which is pretty good. If we look at our fertility overlay, it looks like we have a patch of fertile soil here, and then there's some more up here as well. So I'm thinking, over here's like this whole middle section here is probably where we want to start building out our base, with the anima tree right over there as well. That does give us some wiggle room for raids. And actually, I think I'm thinking maybe up here would be the best avenue. So the tricky thing about this is, and this is going to go counter to our beliefs, we're going to have to chop down some trees. We're going to have to chop trees down to be able to grow here. We're going to have to build like an external wall, and that's going to require chopping. So we are going to probably upset our religion quite a bit. The good thing is the maximum penalty we can get is -20. So I think now is the right time to utilize that and get the most, max out our penalty, get as many trees cut as possible, because we have our initial optimism buff and we have low expectations right now. So I think if there's ever a time to do it where morale is going to be affected, now would be the appropriate time to do that. So let's go ahead and clear out pretty much this entire zone here, because we're going to be planting, and frankly, probably this entire area in general, although I'm not confident we're going to get through all of that. I would like to go ahead and we could start framing out what we want our structure to look like. And I think we're going to just start by coming across here. Maybe we'll go up a little higher because we want to make sure to encompass everything that we can as far as soil goes. So let's go ahead and build this here. I think we can come down. This is within range of the anima tree, but we could always adjust this down the road. Let's go ahead and come down to like here, come all the way across here, go back up. And then for now, I think we are just gonna like box this off a little bit. And we'll have to figure out something for defense there. So I think our initial defensive structure, oh, it looks like we got some little bit of barbed wire there. So that's all framed out, although we're not actually going to build most of that at the moment. I'm going to disallow all of that, but we'll just frame it out and get it structured. I would ultimately, I think, like to have like an intake here. And maybe we'll just come right up along here. And I'll end up putting a door somewhere back here. And that will allow us to build a bunch of like traps down this corridor and, you know, give people an avenue to walk in, but not completely overwhelm us, at least not initially. And then we'll probably move that down the road once we get a little more comfortable, build some sort of like box over here. But for the immediate future, for what we need, you know, now, I would say a relatively small, you know, 13 by 13 space should do us just fine. And then let's do another, I think this would be another 13. That would be 13 maybe. I think that's probably right. I got to deconstruct a bunch of cars and everything for that, but let's go ahead and just get this started. And we can get something built here where we can, you know, comfortably come into the building and not have to immediately worry about getting destroyed. Let's go ahead and get this down. I think this would be a good start. We could expand this out once we get this all built up. So let's go ahead and get started here. I think I'm probably a little overzealous with my orders, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove the chopping orders here and here. But I'm gonna leave all these chopping orders in place. So let's go ahead and unpause for the first time. We're gonna leave the speed a little slow up front, just so we can make sure we're not missing out on anything in particular. And of course, they're eating right away. We do have some short bows, so we should probably equip that. Who has our good shooting capability? It looks like you and you. You actually are pretty bad. All right, so maybe we should actually focus on giving the bows to the people who actually have like a some benefit to shooting. Yeah, let's go ahead and drop your bow as well, and then we'll give you the other bow, and then you guys can get the knife and pila and the club. So everybody is armed in some way, shape, or form, although not necessarily the ideal weapon that they're going to ultimately want to use. I do think it's important to get our initial structure up as soon as possible, so chopping these trees down is probably a good idea in general. Although farm is definitely very, very close behind because we are going to be running into some serious food issues very, very quickly. I am going to want to destroy these vehicles and nodes and all that stuff, just because this is going to get, just going to be in the way. So let's go ahead and maybe increase the speed by a little bit just to get this moving along. Who needs medical treatment? Why do you need medical treatment? Oh, you got little friendly fire there. Well, that's unfortunate. Looks like you have the best medical skill, Pepper. So we're going to go ahead and tend to you. And I think maybe we'll move over here. Just so we're a little more confident we're not going to get friendly fired. Not to say we won't at all, but maybe it'll reduce the odds of it happening. Let's go ahead and melee this as well. And then I do want to expand our walls over here and over here. Make sure we get this all enclosed properly. We can worry about destroying these other cars later on. I just want to make sure we get the general framework up and running as fast as possible. So let's go ahead and undraft them and let them get some food. We are already running out of pemmican, so it definitely does not take long for these very hungry people to need food as soon as possible. So let's go ahead and increase our firefighting, our bed rest. You have a passion for doctoring, so we want to put you at like #1 for doctoring. I feel like all this stuff should be #1 just so it all gets done with higher priority. And then let's go ahead and increase #2. Well, you guys actually care about this stuff. Oh, that's right. You can't hunt. We can't hunt because we like the aminals and we don't want them to get hurt. So I think putting this all at 2 is probably a good move. We're going to be probably mostly vegetarian this time around. Now, from what I understand, the system works from left to right. So even if these are all 2, they'll always cut plants before they haul or clean. So I think it's fine to leave those on 2 for now. And we'll tweak as we go along and as we get more people in the colony and stuff like that. So it's not like a make or break thing. Let's go ahead and get a grow zone down, though. We want to make sure we get at least 2 different grow zones down, if not 3, just to start different things. I did not mean to make this into one giant grow zone, so I do want to shrink that down. Let's go ahead and pick something for this. I do want to make rice plants, I think, and over here I'm gonna want to make fiber corn. And the reason for that is once I get these trees chopped and get all this lumber, I really don't want to have to do that again, because if we look at the needs here, we get a -20 mood debuff, trees ravaged. So I don't mind doing that up front one time, but once that's done, I need to be a little more cautious in how I utilize wood in specific. So I want to make sure that we're respecting the nature of our playthrough here. So I am going to need to probably pretty significantly increase the production of fiber corn here. So I know some of the stuff isn't in the boundaries, but ooh, I hate that. All right, let's go ahead and expand that zone here. Expand that to here. And I just want to try to max out where we're growing this as much as possible. Although I don't want to make, like, I'm making it kind of large right now, but I don't want it necessarily to be too large. Oh, this isn't even on the fertile soil. So we're definitely gonna have to move this over here some more, just to make sure we're encapsulating all the the fertile soil. We'll go ahead and turn that off for now. So we just have 2 grow zones currently. We have our rice and we have our fiber corn. And I think that should be good for the time being. I do want to make sure we get all this built as fast as possible. I would like to put down some security stuff. So I think spike traps would be a good move here. And we'll go ahead and just place down a big row of spike traps. This is going to use a lot of wood because they're, 45 wood each. And then every time we rearm them, that's going to be, even more wood. So let's go ahead and put those down for now. And then I think what we'll do is we'll put down, structure-wise, we'll put down some wooden columns, just to make sure that people are going over the actual spike traps, instead of walking around them. And I think that should leave us in a good spot overall. We are suffering from some malnutrition already, which is, again, not that surprising. We're down to our last 57 pemmican. So I definitely need to get this farm up and running as soon as possible. We are in the jungle, so we can harvest some berry bushes, and I think I am going to, maybe increase the priority of that a little bit. And then we're also going to want to make sure that we are getting a campfire up and running so that we can start cooking some and making some simple meals. We do ultimately need to destroy these cars as well, but I need to prioritize getting the structure built first. I think that takes a little bit of priority over everything else. So let's go ahead and prioritize deconstructing this stuff so I can get the last of this wall, up for certain. And then the other thing I want to do from a mood perspective is I want to set up like a biphasic sleep schedule. So I think what we do is just set this person to anything for the time being. And then we'll go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. We do a little bit of recreation before each one, and then we'll copy that and we'll paste it on the rest of them. So that should, on average, keep mood a little more elevated, so that they will have a lower chance of having a mood breakdown. The good thing is, they are happy, like, naturally as part of their biology. So the genetic joy should be, it's a nice, like, plus 10 just in general to their morale. So we do have our huskies as well, so I should probably put a little effort into taming them and making sure that they are able to help us with hauling in particular. Okay, we are starting to plant, although we are focusing on the wrong thing. So I'm going to turn off planting there for now and hope that they focus a little more on planting the rice, because that's the more immediate need. The other thing we need to do is build some beds, although we don't actually have the tech for building beds at the moment. So I'm just going to slap down a couple sleeping spots for the time being. And we want to make sure we get a simple research bench up and running. There's a couple things we're going to have to do here. We're going to want a butcher table. We're going to want an art bench. Looks like I can't. Oh, there's a stump. Let make sure that finishes. Okay, so it looks like they are focusing on getting rice plants up and running, which is going to be very important because everybody's going to be starving to death really, really quickly. As a matter of fact, they are already starving. So, and we're already starting to get malnutrition built up. So I'm really hoping they focus some efforts on getting all this rice planted, and probably more importantly, get once this is up and running, get the berries harvested as fast as possible, because that's going to be really important for them to all eat. There we go. So their mood's increasing already just because they're getting some food in their system, but look at how fast it's ticking down with that 225% detriment on the food production. That's pretty intense, and I think that's going to make this playthrough fairly difficult overall. But we'll see how it goes. I do want to hold this door open here, just so that when we do get raided, they are encouraged to walk through and try to attack us here. And I think I do want to make like a storage unit to keep everything inside here. Probably shouldn't build the campfire here. Well, I think it'll be okay as long as I build a wooden door where I can go through and not have to like walk all the way around every time. Herbal medicine is decaying a little bit outside, as well as our steel iqua. Ooh, there we go. We got a lover going on. Okay, so now we're getting some of the building done here, which is the second most important thing after making sure that we're eating enough food. We do have some berries just chilling around the campsite, so once this is done, we should probably build a zone and make sure that we're stockpiling our food appropriately. Let's go ahead and focus on putting food in here for now. We should probably build another zone, I don't know, maybe right here. That's going to focus on keeping lumber. Which, I mean, we're fine right now, but what's going on with you? You're probably food poisoning. Yeah, you're dragging pretty slow. I would like to maybe prioritize getting this campfire built so we can put a little more effort into getting simple meals up and running. I actually think the person who is good at cooking should probably put a high priority in that, just to make sure we're not wasting a bunch of food. We also need to get recreation up and running. That is something else that needs to... Let's get the Game of built, and we'll do a little wooden hoopstone thing here as well. A cobra is hunting a terrier. Oh no. So we can't attack animals, but we can defend ourselves from animals that like go feral. Although I don't know if that counts because they just killed one of our animals. Butchering is a thing we can do, although I have a feeling they're going to be rather unhappy if they're butchering their previous pet. Who is our social person? Let's take a look. Looks like Margarita is our social person. Let's go ahead and initiate a trade, even though I don't think we necessarily have anything worth trading. No, we don't. So nothing we could do there. But at least we tried a little bit. I think we're going to need more rice plants than this. I don't think this is going to be enough. I'm going to expand this zone out just a little bit more. And then they could get planting on that. One good thing about spacing it out is, at least for now, like this is 20% grown, and whatever I'm growing next is going to, you know, be starting at 0, so it'll be spaced out a little bit. The harvesting doesn't all have to happen at once. We might be able to like harvest as we need it. The other thing I want to put here, maybe get that herbal medicine. Let's get that in here. Make sure we're not losing out on that. Wildlife, there's really not much we can do here. I mean, I guess if we're starving, I should probably do something. But I am very worried about that. I'm going to go ahead and harvest more berries, hoping that can carry us through till we Absolutely need it. Yeah, we're at low medicine, low food. Unhappy colonists that are running out of food. Starting to see some of those minor break risks showing up. It looks like we are kind of chewing through our lumber supplies pretty quickly. I mean, 1,700 sounds like a lot, but it's actually not that much if you look at what we have here. So, um, yeah, hopefully this goes pretty well. I don't want to build a fire on the inside because I think it'll get too hot, at least for now. All right, Marta, why don't you prioritize working on that so people get some recreation opportunities? We don't have any steel for the research bench. Hmm. Oh, Mad Rat. We can use that. Okay, we're shooting at the rat. All right, we will be able to butcher the rat because it did attack us. So let's go ahead and prioritize butchering. Maybe we can get a meal out of it. We'll see what happens. Yeah, not enough. Close, but not enough. Looks like we are getting some berries, but we just don't have enough to make any meaningful impact there. The good news is I think we're getting to a point where we have enough traps and everything built to protect us. I think if we got raided now, we would be in okay shape. But, you know, only time's going to tell on that. I would like to get like a crafting spot up and running as well, just so we have a spot to make like better bows, and I would like everybody to be able to use ranged attacks, even if they're not necessarily that good at it. And at some point, I will need to um, build a spot for um, ideology stuff. So it's like trivial malnutrition going on right now. We should be pretty much past the trees ravaged part. That's my hope anyway. Um, I could try to cheese out. Maybe I can get this panther to attack us, and then we could attack it instead. That won't violate our religion per se, so I think maybe that is a route we can go. But for now, we'll just keep chopping away at some of these berries, and hopefully it'll be enough to carry us through. Yeah, we got a little while left before any of this rice plant uh, does anything meaningful here, so maybe I will expand this zone again and try to add even more rice to it. I'm not sure if this is going to be enough or too much, but I feel like we just need so much food because of the 225% penalty. So, the Gray Expanse is pretty cool. Io Nation and the Gray Expanse. Let's go ahead and go with that. Okay, we do have our first meal made, which is you know, theoretically good. Let's go ahead and just disassemble all this stuff to get it out of the way, because at some point we're gonna want to move around this space and not have to deal with all this garbage being in the way. We should probably move this weapon into here as well. So let's go ahead and do weapons and apparel for now. The other thing I want to do, crafting spot, let's make a couple recurve bows. I think I want to make like 5 of those. It'll use up some of the wood, but I think it's probably worth doing. Yeah, do we not have enough berries? Looks like they're hauling them back. All right, let me find berries on the map here. If we're running out, we're going to be in a bit of a pickle here. And I think we are running low on the map. I don't think there's that many berries left. So I'm just trying to bridge the gap till this rice is done enough to where we can start harvesting it and making our own food. I'm just not confident that we're gonna quite make it, but only time will tell. All right, I think that's probably a good spot to put the cut in for the first episode here. I'm hoping in the next episode we will make a little more progress on solving our pending starvation problem. I would like to maybe get rid of these ancient cars here and put some flooring in the base. Well, flooring will increase the wealth. I think I might want to hold off on that just a little bit. But I do want to try to find a way to get steel so I can get this research bench up and running. I would like to get some defensive, maybe move some of these granite chunks and get some sort of like defensive line built up in case we get raided both on this side and on the other side. And maybe start disassembling. I might even issue this command before I call it, but start disassembling some of this other stuff here, just so we have these resources available to us, because that probably just makes sense to do. I'm going to go ahead and claim this and actually not deconstruct these, and I'm going to issue a command to reinstall them in here, so at least we have some tables up and running. And yeah, I think we'll leave it there for the time being. Thank you for watching. If you liked the episode, consider hitting the like button and subscribing if you want to see more content in the future. And we will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.